Oh, I hate my job, what I'm going to do with my life type of...
Right, they can answer that question, although sometimes what happens is I do the reading first and I wind up answering most of the questions they want to ask. Or in many cases, perhaps because of the energy in the room with the crystal skulls and whoever else is there that we can't see, they say, I had a whole bunch of questions, but I can't remember any of them.
Mm-hmm.
They blank out.
Now, you teach a workshop on crystal skulls.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly are you teaching during a workshop?
Well, when I do my workshops, what I'll do is I'll usually do a slide presentation, and I will bring in pictures and images of many of the known crystal skulls that exist in the world, and I'll talk about their history, and then I'll start going into like some of the theories about how they were created, where they came from, why they're important for the future, how they're linked to prophecy, UFO connection, hollow earth connection, and whatever other questions
come up. Can you expound on anything you just said, like why crystal skulls are important to humanity?
I believe the crystal skulls, the very old ones, like the Mitchell Hedges skull, or Ami, the amethyst skull, which is the first one I saw, or Max, which is traveling around the U.S., or E.T., or Synergy. These are the ancient computers. They have encoded inside of them incredible energy and knowledge. And the key is, it's like if we went back 100 years ago and we showed people a DVD and we said, on this DVD are motion pictures and library, they'll go, you're insane, we're going to put you in an insane asylum. The crystal skulls represent that to me. They have this information, and the only way we've been able to really get it is by working with sensitives and psychics. When they're in the presence, they start to telepathically receive the information, or also shamans that we've talked to who are connected to crystal skulls will tell the same. Mm-hmm. That they're kind of like telepathically giving information or energies.
And so in your classes you're trying to help people develop their telepathic ability?
Well,
their psychic sense?
No, mostly my workshop focuses on to get them familiar with the crystal skulls themselves and to have an experience with it. However, crystal skulls can be a catalyst that will help to bring up people's gifts. This does happen in our sessions. There was one person I was working with in Indianapolis, and he was meditating with the music with Portal de Luz, and his third eye popped open. And I yelled at Portal de Luz after, and I said, my third eye is not fully open, and you went ahead and helped this guy, but you never helped me. Mm-hmm. So you never know what's going to happen in the sessions.
And what did your crystal skull reply to what you said?
Well, they said, you've had your third eye open in too many lifetimes in the past. This time you have to go by what you feel and what you hear and trust that.
Mm-hmm. So the crystal skull can also reveal past lives?
Yes, it can. It does come up in the sessions, too, that people's past lives. Because, for example, a person will come and say, I have this problem and this. And a lot of times these problems are related to things that happened to them in the past life. And sometimes I'll be able to see what it is and explain it to them.
Mm-hmm. Can you give an example of that?
Yeah, we could do it with yourself if you'd like.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so what I see immediately with you is you are a sailor. Mm-hmm. In Europe. I think maybe this might be how we knew each other, because I also was a sailor in Italy. Like, I can't remember. I hate this when I forget. Who is that Italian explorer that went to China? Marco Polo. Mm-hmm. There might be some connection between Marco Polo or this kind of time frame in Italy as a sailor. So that's what I see for you right now.
Well, it's pretty remarkable because I was working with a woman who had cancer, and it's a long story, but she passed away, and I went for hypnosis, and she came to me, and then I went into a past life, and at that time I purposely had stayed away from reincarnation.
Uh-huh.
I studied, because my philosophy major, so I studied reincarnation in college, and I've been doing hypnosis for 9 years, and so I went into a past life and was a sailor.
Yeah.
And then immediately after the session, I took a walk, and I found a jewelry store like 500 feet from my house. Mm-hmm. Even though I'd lived there 2 years, I'd never seen it before.
Right.
Called to buy this wooden ring.
Oh, wow.
And the wood is significant because the ring, I asked carpenters and woodworkers, it's a type of wood that they would make sailing boats out of.
Okay.
So it's kind of interesting, although what you said doesn't really help me. It maybe confirms what I've already believed.
Well, a sailor has, for me, because I also was a sailor, the desire to know the world. to go all over the world to have different experiences and to learn about different cultures. So that's what the sailor is about.
Yeah. Well, I know in this lifetime I love to be on the water, love to kayak and
Right.
canoe and raft.
Right.
So very good, very good. So what else can you tell us about the skulls?
Well, I'm just going to go and be spontaneous, and I'm here to discuss about the connection with the extraterrestrials. One of the things that the co-authors of this book did is they worked with the Mitchell Hedges skull, and they were taking like different photographs when they activated the skull. This crystal skull is activated by color, light, sound, and human energy. And they were able to find, and that picture is actually in the book, they had a picture of a UFO that appeared inside of the crystal skull. Now, what does this imply? Well, either the crystal skulls are like video cameras and they're recording, because these holographic images can be activated within these older skulls. They're recording everything that goes on. So it recorded some kind of UFO activity that happened in the Earth's past. Or it was kind of indicating, if you're curious where we came from, look to the stars. We were the gifts from the gods. And this is the way in which a lot of the indigenous cultures that we talk to, if they will talk about crystal skulls, they always seem to be linked for them with these extraterrestrials. So maybe the crystal skulls were brought, these very old ones, to help humanity to evolve and to grow and to be a catalyst to awaken the divinity within us.
Are you aware of any anthropologists like Margaret Mead, Franz Boas, who recorded crystal skulls in their research?
Generally, anthropologists and archaeologists and most scientists will not want to look at crystal skulls.
Why is that?
Well, this is the problem. If you're such an individual and you have a certain idea about the reality of how this earth works, and then you come into the presence of an artifact that totally negates everything that you believe, do you think that individual is going to really be interested to want to give credence to such an object? I mean, like for example...
But if an archaeologist could expose something like this, he or she would be very famous.
I think so, but I haven't found yet one who's really willing to go out on a limb. Like for example, I talked to one archaeologist who saw the Mitchell Hedges skull, and he said, first of all, you're very brave talking to me that you're willing to go out there and speak. And I said, well, I'm not a professional, so I have nothing to lose. I'm just an individual who's very interested. And then he said, also, I can't really talk about what I believe to other archaeologists or anthropologists because they'll think I'm insane. I could actually lose my credibility and my license.
And what else did the archaeologists say?
Well,
besides
it's just
validating crystal skulls.
What it is they find it very interesting because many of them are uncovered with Mesoamerican cultures. Now, just because a crystal skull is found with a Mesoamerican culture doesn't mean that culture created it, okay? Because there is a belief that the crystal skulls traveled all over the world. An example would be there's a large crystal skull called Synergy that when Sherry Whitfield, the caretaker, brought that skull to England, there was a man who had contact with one of the primitive tribes in Australia. When he showed to that primitive tribes pictures of the skull, they were like so happy and thrilled because they said, we were the guardians for over 1,000 years of that crystal skull, and then it went into the world, and we're so happy to know that it still exists and it's still traveling.
And how would those people know if the crystal skull had been gone for so long? Was it passed down by...
Yeah, that's what they do. They have legends that they verbally pass down to each other.
And are you aware of what those legends are?
Not exactly, because in most cases the indigenous people don't want to talk about the skulls. They are considered to be sacred, and they do not approve of what modern people are doing with them, like buying and selling them. This is unheard of for them.
And how were crystal skulls used to be passed from one person to another?
They probably were passed the same way they are now, where one person felt that they needed to gift it to another person, or like the shaman would train an individual to take care of them.
I've got to cut you off. All right, for more information about Joshua Shapiro, Infinity Foundation, Inner Quest talk show, stay tuned to the credits at the end. Until next time, we wish you good health, good spirits, and good fortune. Thank you, Joshua.
Oh, thank you, Jay. Pleasure to be here.
Same here.
For more information about this show, our guests, Infinity Foundation, or any of our other programs, please visit our website, infinityfoundation.org, or call us at 847-831-8828.